Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today and having Latasha on. Gosh, Latasha, it was absolutely fantastic having you today. Now the fun part kind of happens. It's we call it behind the scenes. So today we're joined by a buddy of mine, and his parents are in town, and our president, Avery, is here as well. And you're going to hear some audio now coming up of talking through exactly the what we call post time or post discussion, and there are a lot of really fun things come out of that. And so I'm looking forward to getting your feedback after you hear our post discussion with the rest of the team. And have a super day, and I'm looking forward to the next business aha. Again, thanks everybody.
Not expecting that.
That was great.
But I have to tell you, I thought about two things. Number one is your ponytail. Because you choose to be your authentic self because you don't care. Someone doesn't like your ponytail, that's fine. Because you guys live in Minnesota.
Yeah.
White guy in Minnesota ponytail?
It's a thing, I guess.
Is it a thing?
It's becoming more
guys,
common for
know.
old guys.
Is it like a midlife crisis thing?
No,
Or?
it's past midlife.
It's coming out on top, so I gotta save it.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you gotta get it somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And number two, Eli, your nails. And only on one hand, or you do it on both.
It just depends on the day.
But look, he literally decides, I'm going to do this color here, I'm going to do this color here. I'm like, why do you do that? He goes, because I want to.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It's about being authentic self,
100%.
right? I mean, be who you are, not what somebody wants you necessarily to be as a whole.
Yeah, I always try to be myself.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Oh, this is amazing. I'm learning all about you. And
That was great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
Unexpected, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It
That
was great.
fun. Really. Thanks
Yeah.
for letting us sit in.
that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
What do you think about that? The whole authentic self thing?
It's great. I mean, so actually one of my friends is a guy named Jamie Winship, and his whole organization is on identity
Mm-hmm.
and people finding their true identity, because so many people live outside of their identity and other people's identity, what they expect. Like you thought,
Yeah.
but when you find that, it just everything works together.
Yes.
Would you get the same advice though?
That was great.
No, I'm giving people being their authentic self.
You have to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But so many people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I struggled for years.
they let me be my authentic self. They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, maybe
Sure
they
love that.
do.
Maybe they don't tell me.
No.
He's probably the cleanest cut kid we got.
we
The
have,
cleanest cut kid we got.
I guess so.
Okay.
we have 5 kids.
Oh,
They
Oh,
all
my
are
goodness.
tatted out, long hair,
Oh, all of
whatever.
them.
They're all
Well, the apple on the tree here. Huh.
But yeah, maybe when I feel like we are behind that now, maybe not so much when they were younger. It was a little hard, like, okay, but we embrace it, be yourself, be who you are. I've struggled with my self-esteem and wondering who I was authentically. And so this was a good reminder. And also relationships and people, connections are huge. You just don't know what kind of
authentic relationships.
but you don't know what kind of influence you're going to have. You don't know what you say is going to change somebody's perspective totally, and I love that.
I use the term sometimes a mile wide and an inch deep versus an inch wide and a mile deep.
Mm-hmm.
You should have relationships that are an inch wide and a mile deep.
Yeah.
Don't try to have relationships that are a mile wide and an inch deep.
Right.
Because you're seen to be surface.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And like his friends do that, and how much you caring for other people. I'm not quite sure, Avery, if you're the clean cut one or your sister is the clean.
Probably depends on the day.
Yeah.
We switch back and forth.
Avery's sister's a Scottsdale firefighter.
Oh,
And so she plays the part of being, in that uniform and her role of responsibility.
It has its different. I mean, she's starting to get more tattoos now, which a lot of people at her station also have tattoos, but that's also a representation of herself. So I feel like her true self comes out from the others around her as well. Kind of like, oh, you guys have 2 tattoos? I can do that in my professional workplace now that I'm here. So it's been cool to see her expand and grow that way.
Yeah. She's her authentic self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She'll tell you how she feels about something, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What do you think, Bennett?
I think it's a good reminder. I think you hear it before, you hear it a lot. Oh, be yourself.
But do you do it, right?
Right.
And it seems like there's always a conformality of a certain situation whether it be work or your friends, or like, I've got to fit in somehow in some way. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way because you bring yourself to the table, and that's why you're in that situation. So it's a good reminder, I think, to do what you said, just, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with this person or deal with that person because they see me in a different light, when really, if I was just myself, maybe that barrier gets broken much earlier, and the relationship is much better.
I would agree. Was it hard for you to pick the aha moment, or was it easy?
No, I feel like that was like like you said, when you're in conversation, like, because we had talked about so many things, I think I know that is the aha moment. Like, there is no question about it. So I just don't really tell the story much, right? Like, I mean, I don't really tell it that often.
I think it's remarkable.
Yeah.
Unexpected.
Yeah, but also it just kind of, I'm one of those people, like, everything happens for a reason. Like, I never in a million years wanted my child to break his arm, but if not for that cycle of events happening, right, I would have never missed work. Never are you going to get me to miss work unless I'm truly sick, and thank God that's, like, rare, but I mean, I wouldn't have done it. Like, I just wouldn't have.
On that infamous Thursday,
right? Because I had interns that were starting on Monday, right? Like, I was ready to go with my interns. We were gonna have a good time, right? And so yeah. Anyway, I just feel like everything falls into place exactly like it's supposed to.
Yeah, pretty good.
But I mean, even for my current job, I mean, when I walked into NASCAR to the raceway on day one, like, everyone in the office was like in suits, and they were like all buttoned up, and there's like certain people on my team, I'm like, you don't even wear high heels. Like, I can tell because you can't walk in them. So I'm like, I can tell, like, right away. I'm like, you don't even like those. So, like, why is this the vibe, right? And so we work in sports. Like, I'm not going to be at the raceway in my heels and a dress walking you around the track, right? Like, doing those things. I'm just not going to do that. But for some reason, like, that was the vibe, right? Like, in the office. And so right away, I'm like, listen, guys, we need to be appropriate. We're changing the dress code, like, because the dress code actually didn't need to be changed. The NASCAR dress code is business casual, right? But for some reason in Phoenix, the vibe was so different, and so now you see a lot of Jordans around there. I didn't tell people to buy Jordans, right? But also it allowed people to be different. Like, their personalities are different. Like, they're so, like, they talk a lot. Otherwise they were all super quiet and all stuffy, and I'm like, oh my God, just relax. Everybody relax. Yeah. Just
usually when you're wearing more relaxed clothes, you have more of a relaxed kind of a feel.
Yes, they get so much shit done. I'm telling you, that team, we get a lot of. You can't plan for a championship weekend if you're not getting a lot of things done. I mean, even since last November, we've been planning for this November, even though we had a race in between, right, in March, and so the team just, like, gets it. But again, they just are. All of them talk about that. They're like, oh my God, thank God that we don't have, like, we can just be us.
Yeah.
So it's been like a really, really, really good vibe there.
So if you need a reminder to be your authentic self, just remember that you're influencing all these other people by being yourself. You're helping other people come out of their own skin. And
well, do you like who's going to listen to it, Eli, and they're going to go, I need to do that.
Yes.
Or
I've not done it, and I need to do X.
Yeah.
I need to do a little bit more of Y. What?
If some little kid sees me at the skate park and I'm just being myself, and they have been taught their whole life by their parents or something just to stick to the straight line, then they might be like, I'm going to try something else now.
Yeah, it really is
Love
a domino effect.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Interesting.
100%.
And how something so small can happen.
Well, and now it's affecting a new workplace culture. Your boss's impact on you is now affecting.
Oh, but yeah, because of Brandon, now you pushed it at NASCAR, right? It was
And think about the leaders that you're fostering now, the leaders of tomorrow, the impact they could have.
Yes, exactly right. I love that.
I think that's a good point, because you mentioned in your interview, like, I want to be myself and be able to do the things I want to do. I think so many times we can get so, like, unsatisfied with the situation, and maybe deep down the reason is why we can't be ourselves. We can't do what we want to do because the people around us don't let us do that, or that barrier hasn't been broken yet because
holding
you're
us back or whatever.
Because you haven't brought it up yet, and that makes me think about all the other past events. Maybe I should have just been like, I don't feel like I'm using my strengths here to the best of the environment, and maybe it could have been better and it elevated, so it's a good point, to get on the right page early with
Yeah.
someone that you're obviously going to be working with.
Yeah.
So it's a good point moving forward, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And in fact, I've said to many people when they're like, I'm really, really dissatisfied with my job. I'm like, you know, if you bought a bucket of water and watered the ground underneath you at all, the grass
Right.
isn't always greener. Sometimes you got to water the ground underneath you.
Yeah.
If they don't always assume that the woe is me is card. The woe is me card, right?
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's a neat story though.
It was a great
Does your
story.
son
Thank
know?
you. Thank you. No, you know what? I don't know that he knows. And now he's 13, so I mean, we can talk about it.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, boys.
I know.
It wasn't for you breaking your arm.
I know.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm blaming your dad.
No, you know
He
what?
went and broke his arm.
No, it was the younger. It was the older one. They were on this old chair that my parents have, like a recliner, and you know they like kind of twist around. So they're like twisting him around on this chair with a cousin.
Oh, spinning it.
Yeah, and he fell off the side, and when he went to like
boom.
stop himself, snapped. Yeah, like
Ah.
right here. And I mean, it was like hanging down and
Walked into
everything.
it very neat.
What?
I walked into it
Yeah.
very neat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking about broken arms. Yes.
Okay, I gotta make a good noise. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, team.
Okay.
Thank you.